Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Codersart. In this video, we are going to talk about 7 proven methods to learn coding productively. If you are looking to become proficient in coding, you will need to develop the right learning habit and the strategy. So in this video, we are going to talk about this. So let's begin. So whether you are beginner or experienced programmer, this method can help you develop the skills you need to become proficient in coding or proficient coder. So if you are ready to take your coding skill to the next level, let's deep dive in this. So first one is practice coding regularly. Consistent practice is a key to become proficient in coding or any learning domain. So aim to spend a certain amount of time each day or a week on coding and stick to a schedule. So if you are beginner in programming and you want to become a proficient in Python and you decided to practice coding at least an hour every day. So you start by learning the basic of Python such as syntax, data types, and then you move on to the more advanced topic like data structure and algorithm. In the beginning, coding may feel difficult and unfamiliar, but as you contribute to the practice consistently, you start to feel more comfortable and confident. You may start by building a small program and then move on the more complex projects such as building a small web applications or machine learning model if you are especially selecting a Python. So in advance, if your background is mathematics, if you want to do some research part. So nowadays most of the people in Python domain, they are as a researcher, they are using machine learning projects, or if there is lots of scope in machine learning or AI. Over the time, you develop a solid foundation in Python and gain the skill necessary to become proficient programmer. Your consistency practice pay off, and you may find that you are able to solve programming problem more efficiently and fastly, or we can say quickly and efficiently. So in this way, practicing coding regularly can help you develop the skills necessary to become a proficient in coding. So this was the first one, like practice coding regularly. And the second point is learn by doing. Rather than just reading about the programming concept, try to apply them to a projects or a problem. Building your own projects can help you solidify your understanding of the programming concept. So let's say you are learning to program in Java and you have just learned about the object oriented programming concept like classes, objects, and inheritance. Instead of just reading about this concept, you decided to apply them to a project. You come up with the idea of building a simply inventory management applications or a system small retail store using Java. You start by defining the classes you will need, such as product and inventory, and then you create the objects and method that will allow you to add, remove, and update the product in inventory. So as you work on projects, you encounter various challenges such as figuring out how to handle exception, designing a user friendly interfaces. But by tackling these challenges, you start to solidify your understanding of the OOPS concept and the Java programming in general. By the time you finish the project, you have not only gained practical experience in Java programming, but also you have developed a deeper understanding of the OOP concept and how they can apply to the real world problem. Plus, you now have a tangible project so to potential employer to use as a portfolio pieces. In this way, learning by doing can help you gain a practical experiences in programming and solidify understanding of the conceptual term of the programming knowledge. So this way, learning by doing can enhance your knowledge. And the third one is start with the basic. It's important to have a strong foundation in the programming basic. So start by learning the foundations or fundamental of the programming language and then move on the data structure and algorithm. So just getting to started, so you can just start with hello world programming just to check the syntax and complexity and how easy to use any programming language. So maybe if you want to just get the taste of the different programming language, so you can just start your projects by writing a simple program like just for hello world to check the easiness and flexibility of the programming language. So starting with basic is essential to become a proficient programmer. Having a strong foundation in programming basic can help you understand the advanced programming concept and allow you to write better code and more efficient code. When you are just starting out, it's important to focus on the fundamental of the programming language, data structure, and algorithms. This means learning the syntax of the programming language you are intended in, as well as understanding the various concepts like variables, loop, conditions, and functions are very helpful. Data structure and algorithm is also important foundation in programming language because data structure allow you to organize and manipulate the data efficiently while algorithm help you solve the complex problem in syntactically and efficient manner. Learning this concept will help you write code that run faster, uses less memory and easier to maintain. Starting with a basic may seems tedious, but it's a crucial step in becoming a proficient programmer. Once you have solid understanding of the fundamental, you can easily start or explore more advanced topic such as web development, machine learning, mobile development, and nowadays AI/ML is also in demand right now, or hot topics we can say. Remember that programming is a constantly evolving field, so it's important to keep learning and updating your skills. But by starting with the basic and building a strong foundation, you will better equipped with learn and adapt to the new technology and programming language as they emerge. And the next one is break down large problem in the smaller pieces or a small part. Large coding projects can be overwhelming, so break them into the smaller part that are easier to tackle. Breaking problem into smaller parts is useful technique in programming that can make complex projects more manageable. By breaking a large problem into a smaller, more manageable part, you can focus on one task at a time and make a steadily progress toward your overall goal. So here are example of how breaking problem into smaller parts can be helpful. So suppose you are tasked with building a web development project from the scratch and the project seems daunting and you are not sure where to start. So rather than just try to tackle the entire project at once, you decide to break it down into smaller parts. You start by focusing on the core functionality of the application, such as user authentications, database integrations. Once you have tackled this smaller part, you can move on the building the user interfaces, adding more and more features and future. By breaking the projects down into a smaller part, you are able to focus on one task at a time and make steadily progress, and you are also be able to test and debug each part of the application as you go along, which can prevent errors and make the project more efficient. So breaking problem in smaller parts can also be helpful in other area of the programming. For example, if you are working on particular difficult programming problem and you break it down into a smaller sub problem and solve each one individually, this can also make the problem more manageable and increase your chance of finding a solution. Overall, breaking problem into a smaller part is a useful technique in programming that can make the large project more manageable and help you become a steady progress toward your goal. Another important point is ask for help. Ask for help is an important part of the learning to code. No matter how experienced you are, there will be always a time you will get stuck on the problem and you need to move forward. Fortunately, there are many resources available to help you when you need it. Here are example of how asking for help can be helpful. Suppose you are working on the coding project and you encounter a problem that you cannot seem to solve on your own, and you have tried researching the problem online but you are not still sure what the issue is. So in this situation, you can turn to the online forum communities or tutorial for the help. For example, you could post a question on the coding forum and ask for the advice from the other programmer. Alternately, you can could join a coding community on social media or join a group chat where you can discuss your problem with others coder, or any company you can ask from the seniors or other person who are experienced in that domain. So by reaching out for the help, you will able to get fresh perspective on the problem and potentially find a solution that you would not have thought of your own. And additionally, you will able to learn from the more experienced coder and potentially pick up new skills that can apply to the future project. Of course, it is important to approach asking for the help with a positive attitude and the willingness to learn. Don't be afraid to admit that you don't know something, and don't and be open to constructive feedback and criticism. So overall, asking for help when you are stuck in important part of the learning to code, you can overcome the coding obstacle and become a more proficient programmer. Another important point is take a break. Taking break can help you avoid burnout and give your brain a chance to process information. Make sure to take frequent break to stay fresh and productive. Another important thing is collaborations with others. Collaboration with others or working with others coder can help you learn new techniques And perspective. Joining coding community or working on the open source project can be a great way to collaborate with others. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching and be sure to implement this method into your learning routine with consistent practice and the right strategy. You can become a proficient coder in no time.